guys can begin to master this very, very important skill, right? This skill is highly important for you to not be taken advantage of, right? Not just to get ahead, but to not be taken advantage of, right? People are using this against you. And if you don't begin to master this skill, if you don't begin to learn to grow, okay, through mastering this, you're not going to get far in life, right? You're just not going to get far in life. You're going to get to a certain point and they're going to pull you back down. You're going to get to a certain point and they're going to pull you right back down. So begin to pay attention and understand what is going on and how you can begin to master the art of listening. Right? That's important. Now, when I say this, right, and I want you guys to understand, I have many weaknesses. I have many, many weaknesses, and most of these weaknesses I am not willing. I'm not willing to announce here publicly, right? Today, but the truth is, we all have plenty of weaknesses. We all have plenty of weaknesses, right? And what we do is we spend most of our lives, right? We spend most of our lives trying to hide them. We spend most of our lives trying to hide our weaknesses, guys. This is what we do, right? And the sad part is, right? We spend most of our lives trying to hide our weaknesses, but we do not spend most of our lives trying to correct these weaknesses. And so, because of the fact that we're not spending most of our lives trying to correct these weaknesses, okay, we leave ourselves open to the attack from our competition, man. And our competition is going to come for you. They're going to come for you no matter what, man. That's just what life is, man. Life is all about competition and people trying to gain advantage, right? So because people are trying to gain advantage, guys, you have to make sure that you're working on your weaknesses, right? And while you're working on your weaknesses, you also have to make sure, guys, that you're doing everything in your everything in your power to not be revealing all of your weaknesses in every single conversation that you have, man. Come on, guys. You gotta work on yourself, man. And see, and that is why, because we're always trying to hide our weaknesses, that is why you have to be very careful of the individual, right? And I say this as a word of caution to you guys, right? You have to be very careful of the individual who has mastered the art of listening to you when you are not speaking, right? Obviously, this is a skill that I want you guys to master, but very, very important for you guys to understand is you have to learn how to be observant and understand that when somebody is dissecting you through conversation, through observation, right? When somebody's dissecting you and breaking you down and pulling out all your weaknesses so that they can constantly have control over you and everything that you do, right? Making sure that you never reach that peak in life that you want to reach. And that's what happens when your competition has mastered the art of listening. Okay? So understand that, right? Now, one of my most vulnerable moments, right? One of my most vulnerable moments, I give you guys that, came when I was manipulated, right? Literally manipulated into unconsciously revealing one of my weaknesses to my competition, right? Now, you guys may say, well, oh my God, Blue, you were manipulated? Yes. Well, first and foremost, I just want you guys to know that we are all constantly being manipulated. Some things hurt us, some things don't hurt us, but people are always out to manipulate us and get us, right? If you buy a certain brand of car, you're being manipulated, right? If you watch a certain program on TV, you're being manipulated. So some things matter and other things don't. But this one was I was taken advantage of by my competition, and they unconsciously forced me to reveal one of my weaknesses, right? And they did it through an excellent technique, right? They did it by revealing what was seemingly one of their weaknesses that they shared first, right? The little share first technique that they used against me. They shared one of the weaknesses, and me not understanding what they were doing, right? Not understanding what they were doing, I immediately tried to hit them with the me too, right? The me too. Oh yeah, I was this way, I was that way, and try to give them some solace, some comfort, and how they felt about their weaknesses by revealing one of my weaknesses as well. And so now I know different, obviously, guys, and I learned from that moment, and I won't make that mistake again. But people are always doing that. People are always taking advantage of you through your weaknesses. And a lot of times they do it through the trade craft of telling you that they have a weakness as well, right? They have a weakness as well. So, like I said, now I know different, guys. So now I seek first to gain the advantage. Okay, believe it or not, I seek first to gain the advantage of my competition rather than wait around to be taken advantage of by my competition, guys. And that's something that I want you guys to do, man. I don't want you guys to be sitting back and being taken advantage of all the time by everybody. I want you guys to have your finger on the pulse. I want you guys to have your thumb on the thumb screw, okay, to be able to turn it back, okay, when people begin to take advantage of you. So that is what I do now. Now I try to get ahead of people and things and events, right? And at the same time, guys, I'm always trying to work and improve on my weaknesses. And that will be my life's work, by the way, right? And that should be your life's work. Always trying to work and improve on your weaknesses and get better. So a few ways that I began to listen to find people's weaknesses. It also helped me when it came to hiding my own weaknesses as I worked to correct them, right? So that people couldn't take advantage of me. So it worked twofold, right? And I'm gonna just give you guys a couple of things, just briefly. We're gonna go through them, and then we're gonna wrap this up for today, right? One of the ways that I learned about people's weaknesses was obviously through conversation, right? And people love to take it back, right? They love to take it back to moments in their life when it was awesome, it was great, and a lot of times, or even bad, but a lot of times people, it is in their childhood years, right? And you can learn so much from a person's childhood, right? And usually when a person is talking about their childhood, if you really listen and pay attention, you can pull out of that conversation a weakness, right? A weakness that they're trying to hide today as an adult, right? So make sure you guys pay attention when you're having those conversations, or you can drift the conversation just as easily to a person's past or a person's childhood, and pull out the weakness and take advantage of that weakness, or at least hold on to that, so that if that person ever turns on you, you can use that as a thumbscrew to turn it back, okay, to your advantage. So understand that. That is just one of the things that I learned. The early years of a person's life, always, if they have not been working on it their whole life, always reveals a lot of people's vulnerabilities. So pay attention to that, right? The second thing is look for the opposite in people's behaviors, right? I learned this a lot in law enforcement. Looking for the opposite in people's behaviors. Usually, when I'm dealing with a crowd of people, the boldest one in the crowd, the one that is banging their chest and yelling and screaming, is usually the biggest coward, right? And so you have to, in order to quell an uprising in a situation, right? You just listen for the loudest person. That is the nucleus. That is the nucleus of the emotion of the crowd, and that is the person that you address, that you step to, okay, and handle the problem. Or if it's a blowhard screaming and yelling at you, they're probably screaming and yelling at you to invoke fear in you so that you don't in turn attack them, right? So understand that as well, right? Look for the opposite in people's behaviors, right? So usually a blowhard is usually a coward. So understand that, right? The next thing is every chain has a weak link. Understand that, right? We all have weak links in our chain. We all have weaks in our circle of influence. We all have weak links in our businesses, right? And those weak links are what you need to be observant of and pay attention to, okay, when it comes to you trying to gain an advantage, right? So a lot of times you can shape, mold, and use that weak link to get in where you need to get in, okay, to have the advantage over your competition. So pay close attention to the weak link, man. The next thing that you need to learn how to do, guys, is you need to learn how to validate. Now, I learned this, I mastered this on social media, and understand that people love validation. People need validation so much, almost as much as they need oxygen, right? And obviously, this is a weakness of people coming up in this type of social media era, but they need validation. And because they need validation, you are the one. You are the one who's going to give them that validation. And when you begin to give them that validation, you become the one who they begin to share with, right? Who they begin to confide in. And so through the fact that you are giving validation, you literally gain advantage. You gain advantage over people, and actually literally you gain power over people, because if you ever decide to pull back your validation, you totally and completely crush them. So make sure that you learn to validate people in order to gain that strong advantage. The last thing I want to talk about, guys, is you have to learn how to feed on people's emotions, right? And also control your own emotions. But and the emotions that I'm talking about feeding on, man, is the same thing that the media does to you each and every day, right? That is why I don't watch the news or a lot of television, right? The media feeds on your fear and your paranoia, right? You're feeding your paranoia. So if they're feeding on your fear and paranoia, then guess what, guys? They are taking full advantage of you, right? They're taking full advantage of making sure that they keep you in a place where they would like you to be, in front of the television, watching it daily, getting ratings, hanging on to their every word, man. That is what it's about, man. That is how they gain an advantage over you. So understand that, man. So listen, man, I'm gonna wrap this up for today, and I hope you guys gained a whole lot. I just want you guys to know I truly miss you. I miss you on YouTube. I miss my my daily videos. But if you guys have been on Spotify, then obviously you hear me every single day. Today my podcast is literally 45 minutes long today. On YouTube I did it in 2 split sessions. So I broke that down to 30 and 15 or 30 and 20 or something like that. Listen, if you guys have not done so already, make sure you head on over to lieutenantsoundblue.com and pick up your copy of my book, Top 25 Mistakes en Route to the Good Life, 2nd edition. All right, as well as, man, give me a shout out on all social media platforms: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Reddit, Blogger, and of course YouTube. Give me a DM down in the comments, okay? And let me know what topic you would like me to talk about on my daily podcast as I'm sitting here in my new office, man, in my new office, chilling out. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up for today. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow with my daily podcast. Maybe I'll be in the studio. Maybe I'll be on the road. We'll see how it goes, man. I'll talk to you guys later, man. Deuces.